It's Father Vogel. We have reached the final point of the final meditation of St. John Baptiste de La Salle's Meditations in Time of Retreat. This 16th meditation is on the reward that a brother of Christian schools, or teachers in general, should expect in heaven if we are faithful to our work. So, this third point, Father La Salle begins. The holy King David says that he will be filled with gladness when God will grant him the grace to see him and to enjoy the glory of heaven. For the sight of God fills all the powers of a person's soul in such a way that all consciousness of self is lost, so to speak. The person is entirely present within the divinity and totally penetrated with God himself. This is the happiness that will be possessed in heaven by those who have procured the salvation of souls, who have done this in a way that has been useful to the good of the Church, and who have by their care restored the robe of innocence to a great number of their disciples that may have lost it through sin, and have helped to preserve the innocence of many others who never lost it. So one of the greatest reward that we can receive, of what constitutes heaven itself, is living in the presence of God, being filled with His life and in complete union with Him. That God possesses us so much that He lives in us and we live in Him, and there's this giving of ourselves to one another, and we are so united with Him. The Church calls it divinization. That's what's being, is to share in the very life of God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. He says this is what we would possess in heaven if we're faithful to the vocation God has called to us. And so he begins to mention in a kind of a summary some of the things. If we have been useful to the good of the Church, we had a meditation upon that. If we've helped to restore to innocence those who maybe have gone astray, if we've brought them back through our correction, or those that we have helped preserve from falling off on paths through our instruction. He says this will happen to those who have carried out the role of guardian angels for the children whom Providence has entrusted to them, who have had an ardent zeal in their work, who have practiced the zeal continually, and who have saved a great number of these children. So if we've truly been angels guarding and guiding our students to God, if we've had that great energy and put forth as best as we are able of trying to lead children to Him, then we'll receive this of being filled up with God's life for all eternity. Again, we can see just the joy welling up within him as he thinks about bringing all of these children and his brothers, of helping help them to reach eternity. Ah, what a thrill of joy you will have when you hear the voices of those whom you have led as if by the hand to heaven, who will say to you on the day of judgment, as well as in heaven itself, what the girl delivered from the devil by St. Paul said to the apostle and those who were with him. These men are servants of the great God, who have proclaimed to us the way of salvation. Then they will represent the good you have done among them. Some will represent to Jesus Christ on the day of judgment the robe of innocence you helped them keep in all its purity. Others who have committed sin and who with your help have washed away their sins in the blood of the Lamb will represent to Him the trouble you took to lead them back to the path of salvation. So he reflects upon, when we come before the judgment seat of the Lord, you have all of these souls that can attest to the fact, just like he says, this is a servant of the great God. This servant proclaimed to me salvation. Jesus, look with love and tenderness upon this soul, because that teacher instructed me and helped me to achieve heaven, helped prevent me from falling into wrong paths, or brought me back and showed compassion upon me when I had gone astray. All of them will join their voices to obtain for you a favorable judgment from Jesus Christ, praying Him not to delay putting you in possession of the happiness you procured for them by your work and your concern. Oh, what joy there will be for those persons who have instructed youth, when their zeal and devotion to procure the salvation of children will be made public before all in heaven. All heaven will resound with the thanksgiving which these blessed children will render to those who have taught them the road to heaven. So many of the things that you will do as a teacher, a parent, as someone leading others to the Lord, that is done in secret that so many people don't see. And it doesn't seem like there is as much praise and honor. It doesn't seem as maybe a greater success from the eyes of the world. So many of those things are hidden because they have to do interiorly with the transformation of the souls of our students. But, he says, in heaven, those are made known. And all will be able to glory in specifically what God has done through you as a teacher in the souls of so many that you assisted, helping them on the road to heaven. So he concludes these meditations. Act then in such a way by your good and wise guidance of those who are entrusted to you, that you will procure all these blessings and all this glory for yourself. God bless.